Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and I have today a very interesting video. Santa brought me some very nice presents this Christmas, and this is one of them. And as you can see, this is a Lego set from the world famous Lego company, and it's the series Technic that are actually very complicated to build. Or I would say, okay, only just one very complicated, because some of them are actually very complicated. But anyway, this is not a very easy set to build, and I'll show you why. This thing has actually 2,891 pieces. The model number of this set is 42177, and as you can see, it's for people of 18 years of age and older. I would say that this actually corresponds to kind of the advisory age, but I'll actually add that this could be built by younger people. I don't think this necessarily needs to be of 18 and over. It is a, kind of a complicated set, but not that crazy. I believe I've seen much crazier sets than this particular one. I did take probably a couple of days to build this. Yeah, almost kind of full days. 5, 6, 7 hours a day with some rest, obviously, because that's just the way I am. If I get into something, I kind of don't like postponing, and especially building this nice set. I got really excited, and I said, I told myself, okay, I need to build this to see how it actually, what it actually looks like. The box is huge. I mean, it is huge. It's humongous. That's the presentation. That's the wheel, 1-to-1. That's the size of the wheels, and those are usually normal. The back of the box will show you the functions of the set, or should we call it a toy. And this is the first picture of it. Shows you independent kind of a suspension, where one wheel is up, the other one is down, and the rear is in a completely different position. Also, when you open the hood, you see this kind of an engine setup that you can see the pistons moving, and then a picture of the actual real car here. Yeah, that's a picture of the real car, and then the measurements of this set. And as you can see, it is very nice, and it's obviously, I forgot to say, but this is the representation or a scaled set of the very famous Mercedes G-Wagon. So this specific model is actually the G500s. And let's get to the set, guys. So right here, let me just turn this around. And the actual set, it is pretty big. As you can see, it's about 2 feet long. Yeah, no, that's not 2 feet. That's about maybe 1.5 feet, about 40 centimeters length. And as you can see, it's pretty big. The height is about maybe 20 centimeters, 20 something. So it's about a foot going up. And we can start. Where can we start? I guess I will start with the major things. As we can see, this is a pretty accurate representation of what this G-Wagon looks like normally. We have the big round headlights here. We have these big grills. They're very detailed. These black grills right here, as you can see. We have a license plate, then the grill here, the emblem. Now here's another trick on this deal with the emblem. The actual original emblem that came with the set, I actually did not like, because as you can see, that the outer rim or the outer circle, it actually stops. I almost thought this was a defect in the printing of the actual part that kind of represents this, but it turned out that it wasn't. So I did have a different emblem from a different set, older set, like a Mercedes truck that I've had before, and the emblem, I had extra emblems from that set that they look much better, so I installed one of those here. License plate with a sticker, very nice. We have the hood, the original hood white. One funky thing is we do have wipers, so that's a wiper set right here. Obviously we don't have a windshield, but you're gonna have to use your imagination. But we do have wipers, and you know, they're functional. Of course you have to make them function. So going to the sides of the truck, very interesting line with this black trim going all the way around. And the way this goes is we have the trim here that continues into the doors, and then we have these little tiny door handles. Yes, they're actually door handles and they're functional. So you have to move it up, and then you can actually open the door, and those are functional doors. And as you can see, there is a lock back here. Here's the lock back here that actually locks the door to the inside part of it. So that's the front door. This is the rear door mechanism, and the rear door opening, closing, and going to the sides. Okay, so that's the sides. Here's the wheels. Very nice, very well made wheels with rubbers. They are pretty tight. They look very nice with the Mercedes logo in the middle. And then we go to the sides of, or the actual rear of the truck. So the deal with this rear actually is you have a couple of setups. Obviously here's the G500 logo with the famous tail lights here and here. And one very interesting kind of addition to this design is, as you can see, I'm moving here these little two plates. Those are supposed to be mud flaps, and they actually have a Mercedes sticker with a logo, and you can move these on the sides and you can set them up here, or you can actually remove them completely if you guys want to do that. It's up to you. Very interestingly, we have a tow hitch mechanism, tow hitch ball here, and we have the spare tire mechanism. Now the deal with the spare tire is, I believe when I was building this set, there was a version, there's another version of this spare tire where you can remove this. Obviously you can just pull this out of here. It's just held by this the X kind of a parts, the X shaft or prolonged parts that Lego supplies your toys with. So this kind of installs, it kind of slides into this and it locks in, and you can, as you can see, this is kind of just a representation of the spare tire that is technically supposed to move to the side originally on the vehicle. It's supposed to just stay, like you're supposed to unlock it on the left side, and there's supposed to be a hinge that should open this. But because there's no space here on the door, I guess they couldn't do it. They just had to kind of make it look like it had this mechanism. Let's not lose this little kind of spacer here. So this is the way this looks like. I will show you when you remove this, you actually present it, or you have access to the rear gate, and there's a ladder here. The ladder is movable. It kind of moves. That's the way it was made. I guess on the truck it's not movable, obviously, but this one I believe is supposed to be kind of removed. I believe I may actually end up retuning or redesigning some of the things that I don't like about this truck as far as the build setup, but I will do that later in time, and maybe I will share another video with you guys of what I changed, what it was on the original build, and what I did change to make this a little look a little bit sturdier or feel a little bit sturdier. And just like the side doors, this rear door has a actual door handle that opens this and unlocks it. As you can see, we got some space back here. Let me see if I can show you. Yep, that's right here. We got some little tiny space. There is a part of the mechanism that actually holds the internal casing of this model, and we have this is the rear seats, so the rear seats kind of move. Obviously we could change this a little bit if you guys need to set up stuff here, but this is just the way it was set up originally. And let's close the door back in, lock it up, and let's install the spare tire back in here. So okay, just that's that easy. It's nothing funky out of it. And this is the one thing about this emblem that I was trying to explain to you. As you can see, the emblem is kind of actually twisted here. See, that's the little detail that it kind of bugs me. Let's not lose the spacer. So this actual emblem is the way the front one looked like when the original one that came with the set. As you can see, I'm not sure why Lego did this when they disconnected or they did an interruption of the outside logo. And I was trying to set up this. Okay, this is as close as it gets. As you can see, it's a little bit twisted. Let's see if we can actually maybe find another spot. Let's see. No, it doesn't fit. Okay, so that is the only place where we can set this up to kind of look straight up. Inside doesn't move because it's set up with the X kind of a type of a deal, so if you try to twist it, it won't move. But as you can see, it needs to go a little bit to the left, but it doesn't. It kind of stays a little bit off to the right. The vertical line of the star logo. So I don't know, it kind of bugs me a little bit. That's why I actually installed the one that I had from the previous set on the front. So I guess I'm gonna have to maybe try to find a way of fixing this. If not, who knows? I mean, we'll just have to leave it like this. I'll probably forget in a second anyway that it was twisted. So going to the passenger side, the truck is pretty nicely made. Again, it has the trim, the black trim that goes all the way through. Also, I forgot, yeah, so these are the mud flaps that I was telling you about, the one in the rear. But here's the funky thing. We actually have mud flaps here in the front too, and they are actually, they do have the Mercedes logo too. As you can see, the sticker. Yep, so mud flaps on the rear too. Very interesting detail. So Mercedes did, Lego did, try to do a lot of details, to add a lot of details to the truck. So again, the wheels, nice rubber. The mud flaps, let me just move them back. Okay, the doors, again, handle, doors open. There was a little bit, oh, I thought I could kind of see kind of a trim pieces here, but I don't. I guess this was my imagination because I was thinking that these are on the inside, but they're on the outside. Anyway, the doors, the rear door, and we can see the rear seat. The rear seat moves up and down. Let me show you. So this is the way the rear seat moves. It is set up from the top bottom part, and it moves up, and it moves. You can move it a little bit up, and then you can extend it. And actually, you can extend it all the way back here. It almost falls all the way down, as you can see from the interior part of this. So very, very interesting setup here. Very interesting design. Or you can just leave it all the way down here, and it'll lock up in its normal position. So the door closing with the latch, the door handle, and this is the front door. Again, the door handle opens, and we open this, and we can see the details. So very nice design. Actually, I forgot to mention something to you. I do like this detail of the actual mirrors. They're very nicely made. The design, the piece that they made is very interesting, and it's very cool looking. I believe it's a little bit different from the original design on the car, but it's still cool. I kind of like it. I like their Lego's take on this. And let's lock this door. There we go. Then we go to the front. So I will show you now some of the top parts, and then we will go on the bottom piece so we can see some additional stuff. So the front, again, very solid, very interesting. It resembles actual design. The hood resembles the original piece, the original car. We have this little tiny emblem right here with a sticker that you guys would want to install when you get the set. We have these grills here, very interesting design. And the hood actually opens. It's not really locked in. It opens freely. It just uses its own weight. And it has a latch that's kind of moves a little bit up and down, so that it allows you to actually open this hood completely, or otherwise you won't be able to move it. So when you slide it in, the latch actually slides back rearwards. And what we have here is kind of a representation of the engine. Now this is again, that's a G500. So here's the deal with the G-Wagons. Usually, I actually work on cars. If you see my other videos, I'm very favorable to these cars as far as my own vision of these cars, and I kind of like them the way they look. But normally these cars, actually I've driven many of them. I myself don't really like the way they drive, because if you guys look at the history of this truck, originally this truck was made as an order for the German army from 3 different brands, where the original truck was called Steyr, Daimler, Puch, and Steyr makes military trucks, I believe, and weapons. Daimler is the heavy trucking kind of bus brand of Mercedes-Benz Daimler. And Puch is P-U-C-H, pronounced in German. That's the 3rd brand that actually makes military trucks. And then Mercedes kind of took it over from them and made this civil version. So the original engines of these were diesel engines. I don't remember. I believe they were 6-cylinder inline 6-cylinder turbo diesel engines. So the way this truck was afterwards built for the civil use is they had, I believe they had the V8, the original, which even if it still was the G500, as far as I remember, it was the V8 even in the G500 because it was a 5-liter V8. And I actually did take a few minutes to kind of consult online with Wikipedia, and I was actually right. The original models of the actual G500 is what this designation is, came with the V8. I do remember that because I used to work on these, and I've never seen an actual 6-cylinder engine. So I'm into kind of some kind of a debacle of what's going on here. It does say professional line. I did try to find this. I didn't find it online. Maybe it's some kind of a Lego take on this version, but the normal G500 should have a V8. So whether Lego couldn't build this or not, as you can see here, we have a 6-cylinder, and we have a sticker with the 6-cylinder designation. I did look at the brand new 2025 G-Wagon, which does have a 6-cylinder gasoline engine, but that car is an actual hybrid. It's a partial electrical with this 6-cylinder engine, and supposed to be, I believe, an inline 6. At least this one here is an inline 6. And the way they made it look like is you can pull this cover out right here. It disconnects with these two little pins right here, as you can see the guides, and you can see the actual pistons kind of standing up and down. These will actually move if you start moving the truck. Actually they will move, but you have to set up the transmission. And let me see, this is drive. Okay, the transmission have the couple settings, so let's see if this thing moves. Okay, it doesn't move. So in high, maybe we have to put this. Okay, let's see, let's put it in high, the transfer case. Okay, it doesn't move again. That's interesting. I know these are functional, but I don't remember how this is done. And I do remember that they're supposed to move, because that was one of the things that actually showed. It did show how this is moving. Okay, anyway, one of these ways, if you look at here, you have to set up, there's a transmission lever, and then you have a transfer case lever. And I believe when you set these up, these will move. I don't remember how. I didn't really see an instruction. I guess I have to go online, but you get my point. The actual presentation of this engine will make these cylinders or pistons move up and down when you move the truck. And we can put this back in. Like I said, I'm kind of a little bit disappointed because I was expecting a V8 here. The G500 has had a V8, and the G550 for United States has the V8. I did look at the information online, and they have had a bunch of different engines in the beginning on this G-Wagon, where they had a bunch of 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder diesels, turbo diesel engines for Europe. I have not really seen these here in the States where I live. Possibly I have, I have seen some other version of this in Europe, where I travel very often to, and I was kind of disappointed again when I saw this inline 6-cylinder engine. Not sure why they decided to do this and install this. Probably, if I have to guess, I think it's probably because there isn't much space left here to build a different kind of setup. But they could have done the V8. I just kind of, I don't know. I was disappointed. I gotta tell you this. Usually with a G-Wagon, you expect power. and the true representation of this truck, it's got to be a V8. So not sure why Lego decided to do this. Anyway, 6-cylinder, straight inline 6-cylinder. Now, there are people that I have seen on some videos on YouTube and other places where they actually mechanize these or motorize these with a setup with a motor that actually makes this truck movable and more like a toy. Where this right now, I would not call it a toy because it's while it looks very nice, it's not really sturdy, to be honest with you. It does have this, like when you look at these doors, they're kind of flimsy, just the way they look. So you got to be careful whether you recognize this as a toy or designate it as a toy or not. So it does have a fully functional steering wheel. It's right here. You can turn, when you turn left and right, it will turn left and right. And then you have, like I showed you earlier, you have a transmission here that you set up in reverse, neutral, and drive. You have to kind of press it to go into this position to click reverse, neutral, and then drive. And then you also have this. Lever for the transfer case where it goes into high, low, and low. I guess in the middle. And it is functional and it transferred things on the bottom, so that's a differential lock, as you can see on the sticker right here. I have to see, maybe there's another lever there that I need to probably press that I don't remember right now. I can see another lever here that's kind of moving. Maybe this is one of them. Okay, this kind of clicked. Let's see if this thing is moving here. I do remember there was some kind of a deal. No, okay. We did, let's put it in drive and we put it in high. Nope. Okay, that's interesting. So not sure why. Anyway, you get my drift. I will try to find it online. I didn't see that in the instructions when I built this of how I can make the pistons move. But anyway, it doesn't matter at this point. Even though these are functional things, they don't really help you to make this truck actually kind of move with 4x4 rear or front differential. They're just a representation of what the truck is supposed to, be. It's what it's supposed to be in real life. So what else can we see? Okay, it does have this kind of this is a set right here. That piece right here looks like it's supposed to look like a rear view mirror. And then this opening here where it opens just like this, these pieces, this is supposed to represent a sunroof. Obviously, I am not very I don't really feel it like a sunroof. It actually felt very weird to me when I saw this. I thought it was some kind of mechanism that I'm supposed to put something on, but I guess they didn't really want to put windows. I haven't really seen bigger windows on Lego toys anyway, so it's all right. It's kind of it's closed. It's what it's supposed to be. Again, this set is the funky thing about it is that you can guys take your own kind of a take on this, and if you don't like something, you can always upgrade it. Obviously, you're free to do that, and you have a lot of options. We can use this roof here to put additional things, additional guardrails, additional things on the top, on the sides. We do have the option of here in the front to put additional headlights, which I may actually end up doing. We do have the lights here that we can actually upgrade. Maybe we can put different lights, but I've built to the way this looks like it's how it came on the original set that Lego built. And I'll show you the detail. I mean, very, very high detail, obviously, to kind of try to represent as best as possible what this is supposed to look like. And they did a pretty good job. I mean, as you can see, this is the steering wheel inside, that's the interior. And actually, it does have a dashboard here. It does have the big screen. So here's the screen with the actual middle screen. This is a touchscreen normally on these G-Wagons. That's the normal cluster where some of them have the touchscreen, some of them not. Well, obviously, I'm talking about the real truck, not this one. But, a pretty good representation of the interior. Again, the levers inside and a sport kind of a looking bucket seat. You have the side back or the side back rests, and we have the bottom pieces. Very, very cool looking seat, and both of the seats are built the same way. So very, very, very nice detail to the interior to try to represent this as best as possible. The doors, I'm sorry, but I gotta call it. They're just a little bit flimsy. So that's what I'm saying. I have seen these kits, these trucks, with some people that built them with the motors, with a mechanized system that actually moves this, makes it like a RC toy. And they must have built other things to make this a little bit sturdier, because the way this feels is kind of flimsy. And the hood being open like this, I believe it needs to have some kind of a lock, which is probably very easy to make. As you can see, it's like when I move this, and the whole truck kind of moves. The parts move. As you can see, look, like the whole front end moves a little bit. So yeah, it is. Yeah, right here. It's just a little bit flimsy. I'm sorry, Lego. It's just the way it is. But I believe this could be upgraded and updated to be a little bit sturdier. I would not take this obviously off-road. Maybe some kid can play with this, but I probably wouldn't play with this outside, because it's gonna get very nasty and very dirty. Very interesting addition here on the roof is this roof rack, and there's like a little part here, like a little shaft. I believe that was a part that fits this the rear tire, the other setup of the rear tire. Very interesting. It opens and closes. I believe I don't like the way where this sits. So it was actually set up from the original setup was a little bit different, and it had this little thing here, and this was kind of loose. So I did install it with two posts right here, two locks, to actually make it sit stable. And as far as functionalities, one thing they did kind of add this little thing here. It's a shaft that goes straight through the middle of the truck right here. This shaft actually is an addition that controls the front wheels. So you can actually use this little kind of a tiny thing as a steering wheel. You kind of get it through in here, you press it in, and what you do is, as you can see, if I twist it left, then the wheels go left, and then they go right. And as you can see, the steering wheel is also moving. So this is kind of a very thoughtful. I believe possibly this was made for some kids or teenagers to play with this, possibly. But again, or maybe this was just a maybe this was just for presentation purposes to kind of make it look cool. But that's the one part I believe that's kind of useful. Otherwise, the other setups, as far as the differential and things, they're not really useful per se if you want to use them. But I will show you, because Lego did take their time to actually make this look very nice and make this presentation. And as you can see already, we can see a bunch of mechanisms. That's the engine right there with the yellow pistons, and there we can see cogwheels right there. That's part of the transmission. So let's put this on the side so I can show you. So yeah, I mean, huge detail. I mean, very, very big detail. And here's the main reason why this wouldn't be recommended to be used outside. The actual differentials are open. So as you can see, the differential here is open. So it does move. And this is part of the mechanism that's going to the transfer case. And here is the transfer case here in the middle, and part of this transmission is with these cogwheels here, the big ones. So this is part of the transmission that kind of switches on and off, and these kind of a clutches type of a deal. They actually lock and unlock the rear mechanism, and you have the drive shaft going to the rear differential with the cogwheels going to the rear differential. And as you can see, when I'm moving this, the actual wheels will move in one direction or the other, and that is a fully functional rear differential. So very, very nice setup, very interesting. It also kind of presents the way this is supposed to be built to some people that really, some people that a lot of people don't work on cars, but this actually is very close to what, like me personally working on cars, I can kind of relate to these parts and see the very big similarity and functionality in these parts. And we have this independent suspension, as you can see, they all move by themselves. We do have so let's put this back down here, and I'll show you that we do have a double setup of shocks. Well, the rear actually has one shock only right there. That's the shock right here. So the rear, because the rear is not heavy, it's actually lighter than the front. That's why they chose to install the shock on just one shock in the rear. That's this one right there. Where in the front we actually have two of these because of the weight of the engine and the transmission. And these are the two shocks right here with the springs, and you can actually see part of the engine right there. That's right there. That's the pieces of the crankshaft that actually move. Those things actually move the pistons. Yep, that's the crankshaft right there. That's the little piece, and part of the transmission system right there. So very, very nice detail, and that's part of the kind of a power steering, if you want to call it. And like I said, again, this is independent suspension. Each wheel has its own system, as you can see, kind of a double wishbone system as what it is in real life. So very, very nice presentation of what it's supposed to be. And man, I just love these tiny little mirrors. They look just very, very cool. Very nice, interesting looking, cool setup. And yeah, I believe again they could have done something else with the engine. Not sure why they didn't, but it is what it is. For people that are not really going to pay attention to this, obviously it's kind of bugging me because it's a G500, so it's supposed to have the V8, but in this case it is what it is. Maybe it's just the overall presentation of what they implied to do. The other thing is, I have in the past, when I've built some of these sets, I always was interested to find out a way of motorizing these, and I have been able to find instructions online, sometimes from people actually posting videos for free online. I did look at some videos on how to make this mechanized, but there isn't an actual instruction video of what you're supposed to get. So I will be looking more to try to see if I can actually mechanize these to use it with the either with the original phone app of Lego with their own Bluetooth motors, or maybe possibly with a different set. I'm not sure. I do remember that they changed the way that the motors are set up, because they have now the new ones have a Bluetooth, and also the old ones used to have a well, no, the old ones didn't have a Bluetooth. They just had this little remote where you would have to actually point because you were using an infrared LED to make the truck or the toy move, where they switched to a completely different setup with a Bluetooth system and a few years back, obviously, but they did update. I just realized because I actually bought a different set of using this Bluetooth system. The new system is actually a little bit better setup because the motors are installed into the motor function kind of a box with the battery and the Bluetooth, everything in one piece. And that one you can control with the app. So what system these guys used when they motorized this set, I'm not sure, but you guys can feel free to try to see this online and kind of, if you want to spend some more time on this, obviously feel free to roam online, kind of try to see if you can find a set. Also, I would love for you to say, put in the comments if you do have instructions this how to be motorized, to let me know, because I would love to add some motors on this and make it move. I did see some videos on YouTube where these are taken outside and they're motorized, so people use them outside as RC. And I kind of feel that they set up this truck in a completely different way, obviously to be rebuilt, because the way this looks like right now, I've seen some guys take it off-road, like completely off-road with some dirt and stones, and I'm sure that this open differentials on the bottom, they're not going to last too long, because these are plastic parts, guys, that's taking it outside in the dirt and the grass and whatever else. It's this mechanism, these mechanisms are not going to last too long. But anyway, for what it is, it's an amazing set. I do love it. Kudos to Lego. Very, very, very nice set. It's a very close representation of what it's supposed to look like. I will mention also that I have done this to some of my other sets, where you can actually buy some LED sets, is what they're called, LED light kits, on possibly eBay or online. They're not expensive, 20, 30, 40 bucks, where you can actually make these headlights, all these little lights, very functional, meaning that they have these little tiny LED lights, very, very tiny LED lights. They're built between these little pieces of the bricks where you get the wiring inside, and you do have the option of remote control, different lights, making it look like a police car or just kind of off-road vehicle. Even though this could be sitting on your table or shelves, you could get this set, kind of make it even look more funkier than what it is now, because I do believe these sets do deserve to have some function. I'm kind of weird about it that they, nothing functions actually technically, because the lights are very nice. They're very close representation of like the tail lights of what they're supposed to be. So us or me adding some LEDs, I believe this is gonna make this look much, much, much cooler than what it is right now, just by standing just like normally, as a piece of like kind of a truck, like a toy truck that doesn't really do anything. Where with the having the choice of remote, different light setups and this and that, it'll attract attention immediately to people that will see this, and they'll be like, oh wow, this is amazing with the lights. And you can have your own light show, obviously. So this is pretty much of what this looks like. And this is something missing here. Interesting. Maybe. Well, yeah, this kind of probably fell because, okay, that's interesting. I believe this fell because this falls right and onto this edge right here, and then it probably pushed this piece. I don't think it's here. I will try to find this at home. I just saw this. I didn't realize it wasn't there. I did have it before I started making this video, so possibly when I move this maybe Yeah, he jumped somewhere. Anyway, I will try to find it. But this is pretty much the whole presentation of this toy. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and get some kind of a perception of what this is supposed to look like, what this looks like. I gotta tell you, it's fun to build this G-Wagon. You will enjoy it, and you will enjoy the end result. Obviously, always, the fun is in the building of these toys. And again, if you manage to buy this, you will enjoy it, I guarantee you. So please hit those like and subscribe buttons. And I hope you enjoy my videos again, and stay tuned for my next adventures, and I will try to see you in the next one. And thanks a lot, and thanks very much for watching, guys. Thank you.